Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for a few minutes today. This is kind of a continuation of the video I did on vibrato. Big subject, and we can get into it more deeply if some of you want to, but I forgot to play one of my favorite tunes, which is a great example of how to use vibrato. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for you today. This actually belongs in the excerpts section, so maybe I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into this one when I talk about it as an excerpt. It's one of the most famous operatic trumpet solos, the famous onstage solo from Don Pasquale. And if you're not familiar with it, check it out on YouTube or whatever, and you'll see some performances of it. And I'll just go ahead and play it. I think you'll get the idea. Here it is. What I really like about that is it's a song. And if you want to check it out, I recommend it in Mark Gould's new book, Gould on Music. He has a wonderful story about this, which I think you'll appreciate. And it gives a little bit of context. Now, okay, so I'm indulging myself to play that because it's got so much in it in terms of dramatic potential. And of course, that's what opera's all about. Love and death and, those deep subjects. But one thing I wanted to get into today in terms of vibrato is how vibrato can be therapeutic. And I actually have a thing I call Vibrato Therapy. And I might do a few episodes on this, but I just want to give you a little taste today. So we talked in the first video about vibrato about amplitude and frequency. So those are kind of those the scientific things, right? Amplitude being how big the waves are, and the frequency is how often they come. And we talked about the different ways of doing vibrato. Today I want to get a little bit deeper into what some people call jaw vibrato, and that's my natural vibrato, and it is for a lot of other people as well. How can you use this to actually help your trumpet playing? So this is something I'm really suggesting that you experiment with. Give yourself permission to mess around, as I do often, and see what you can discover. That's the whole point here. I'm going to go ahead and play vibrato on the first note. So when you have time to listen, I'm playing it, a little bit extended, you can hear the change in the amplitude and the frequency. And it goes along with the expression, as I talked about it in the first video I did on vibrato. But now I want to show you how to use it as an exercise. So exercise, drill, you see, those have bad connotations. That's why I say mess around. This is play. You're going to see what you can discover. So this involves jaw vibrato, and I said I was going to explain it last time, and I didn't, but you probably could see what I was doing. If you put your finger on your jaw, and you go, just blow a stream of air. Blow out the candle, as I said before. Hear that stream of air? So the air is hitting my finger. And it's a very strong, steady, smooth, easy flow of air. And if I were doing that on a trumpet, it would be double forte. It would be a strong double forte, as long as I stayed open and let my lip vibrate freely. So that's kind of a starting point. So when we blow and we move the jaw, now I'm exaggerating so you can hear. That's the full bore air. Now what happens is, as my jaw gets closer, as my teeth get closer, my jaw starts to close, my mouth, the space between my teeth starts to close down. What that does is it brings the lips closer together, and that can produce more compression. It can actually cut the air off. All things being equal. In other words, if your chops are engaged with your trumpet embouchure to blow an airstream, and you change your jaw position as the teeth get closer together, as the jaw closes, that produces more compression. As it comes apart, that produces less compression. What's the result? And this is the thing to play around with. Well, when you open your mouth, the air moves more easily. The lips are farther apart, so as long as they're touching, as long as there's a touch there, they vibrate more freely. When you compress the embouchure by moving the teeth closer together, closing the mouth, then that changes the way the lips are vibrating. Now again, I'm not doing anything with my lip at all, and that's the key. So I'm going to do this I'm going to try it, see if it works. Don't worry, I'm going to do other stuff on free buzzing, as some people call it. Now, if I do it slowly and I bring my jaw apart, if you can free buzz, go ahead and try this. At a certain point, the lips are going to be touching so lightly that they'll stop vibrating, and your lips are actually going to be coming apart. That's what's therapeutic about this. You're going to want to experiment with, if the embouchure is engaged, ready to take the air, ready to form the aperture and to buzz freely, then all you're doing is changing the opening of your mouth. The tongue doesn't change, the lips don't change, the pressure of the mouthpiece doesn't change. And in a way, that makes it really, really simple. But it takes some concentration and some attention, some consciousness of what's going on in order to determine whether your tongue actually is neutral, and your throat is neutral, and your embouchure is neutral, and the pressure of the mouthpiece is neutral. Because if those things change, it kind of negates the effect of this exercise. So, what's the exercise? You can do it with a free buzz. You can do it on the mouthpiece, obviously. Can you see how I'm doing that with the jaw? If you want to try this for yourself, take your finger, just put it lightly underneath your jaw. Find your normal playing position. Now it's kind of like chewing, only not that big. Now listen to it again with the air. So I have an easy, smooth, strong, but gentle in a way, but concentrated airstream. When the teeth get closer together, you can actually pinch the airstream off. Now here's the exercise, and you can do it on the trumpet as well. I'll go back so you'll be able to hear what I'm doing. I'm going to start in the low register where the embouchure is a little bit more softer, a little bit more relaxed. So if I start in what feels like my normal position, my normal amount of opening between the teeth, everything else is natural. If it doesn't feel natural, relax, try it again. Find that spot. Then very, very slowly open your mouth. Here's what I want you to try and do. As you open your mouth, you see the whole time I'm opening my teeth, I'm pulling the teeth apart, I'm working with the facial muscles to keep my lips together. That's interesting. It's a good exercise, and it makes you aware of how much control or how little control you actually have over the embouchure. I'm going to show you what change I'm making. I'm going to start normal, then I'm going to close till my teeth are actually touching, right? Not recommended position for trumpet playing, obviously, because you're kind of straining the air as it comes through. That's not a good idea. But just for the sake of experimentation, the teeth will be blocking the airflow to some extent. And then I'm going to see how far I can go in the other direction. And that's what I want you to experiment with, is explore the, what your physical therapist will call the compass, the range of motion that you have there, and see how much you can do with it. So I'll give it a shot. So when I'm at the end, my mouth is open about the width of my thumb. Now, that may be different for you, and this is very important. Everybody is kind of uniquely physical structure. We all have, lips and tongue and jaw and teeth and so on and so forth. But they're all different shapes and sizes, and they're all different proportions. So one person's experience is going to be different than another's. But here's the basic principle. If your upper lip, see, my upper lip is fairly long, so if I go, and I just open my mouth, you see how my lip is hanging down below my teeth. Some people, check yourself out, it's not going to be the case. Now, don't worry about this, because you can make whatever adjustment you want to with your facial muscles. So if my natural situation where my upper lip was short in comparison with the length of my teeth, my upper teeth, then I'm going to have to kind of reach, open, adjust, and all this is flexible. So find the comfortable, most natural position that you can. What's closest to your natural setup when you're working on this. You're not trying to impose anything. You're not trying to take an idea that I give you here and kind of enforce your body to do it. You're trying to find out what works for you. That's the key thing. The size of your oral cavity, the size and position of your teeth, your tongue, the position of your tongue, huge, whether there's tension there, how open your mouth is in terms of not just the jaw, but in terms of the oral cavity. All those things make a big difference in terms of the results you're going to get. So it's very interesting to experiment with this. And what you're trying to find is something as close to your natural natural singing position. So you wouldn't sing, "My country 'tis of," unless you're very angry at your country. "My country 'tis." See, my teeth are together. Ma, ha. And see, if I just relax the jaw, and that's going to be very similar to your trumpet position. It might not be exactly the same, but get close. Why? Because you don't have to use muscle to hold that position. You just relax the jaw. Now, I'll end with this. Once you've experimented a little bit and you feel like, wow, this is kind of fun. That's good. If things are fun, then you're going in the right direction. I'm going to do the low C again. there's going to be a sweet spot for you, and you want to find what that is. But when you're doing that whole range of motion, that compass, you want to make sure that you try and keep the sound, keep the vibration as close as possible. Keep it going, for one thing, and then see if you can keep it the same. You see how tiny the motion of the jaw is? One of the key things is the jaw has to be soft. You can't be rigid. It can't be clenched. It can't be locked in position. It's got to be loose. So these are all things to experiment with. I hope this gives you some interesting things to try during your playtime, and your practice should be playtime to a large extent. Is discipline necessary? Yes, hugely. But it's got to stay play, otherwise your whole system, your body and your mind start rejecting the idea. It's not fun anymore. So keep it fun, enjoy this, apply some of these things to your practice and see what you can do. And go for that sound quality, that vocal. See how much flexibility you can get. Have fun. Okay, I'll see you later on. Have a good day. Bye-bye.